So I have Raja Banks right here in the trading room, and he's gonna pretty much break down, a trade that he took. We just want to know his thought process, before the trade, during the trade, and also after the trade. All right.
We're looking at gold. We're looking at the 15 to 30 minute time frame.
Okay.
Since this is not a live environment scenario, so we can't switch between time frames.
Okay.
This is a trade I took on the 2nd December, a little bit after London Open. We can see how the candles are moving bullish, right?
Yeah.
So as we're moving bullish, overall trend was bearish. Like, look how we came down. So we're moving up. So what I was looking for at this point is to create some sort of a resistance.
Okay.
So I can take a sell to maybe retest 26.25, which was 40, 50 pips away. So that's what we were looking at. So we're just waiting at this point, some sort of a resistance or some sort of a confirmation where we can take.
Yeah.
So now the candle has formed. We've created some sort of a resistance. But if you look at the time, at the bottom, this says 11:45.
Yes.
11:45, which is 15 minutes before London Open. Right? This means the 30-minute candle is still open and the 1-hour candle is still open. Even though the resistance is formed on the 15-minute, we cannot take a sell because we don't know where London will move price.
Okay.
So had to wait for the 30-minute to close and the 1-hour to close. So now the 15-minute candle closed like this, which is now the 30-minute has closed, 1-hour has closed, and 30 minutes well. Now, if I'm looking at market structure, I know that this is a resistance being formed right here. We have a resistance formed. And if we can break and close above this area, then price can potentially continue to push up, which is where we have like a 38 pip range.
Okay.
Right? Or if we can create some sort of a selling scenario, then probably we can push down towards 26.25, which is, wherever we start, it's like a 50, 55 pip range. Because whenever you're looking at a chart, you need to identify if price will move bullish, how far can it go?
Okay.
If it's going to move bearish, how far can it fall? So we're just waiting at this point. Now, the 15-minute candle has closed bearish, right? We tried to move up. We couldn't move up. This 15-minute candle, you look at the wick, right? The wick tried to go above this zone, but we couldn't go above this zone, right? So now you got to look at it this way. Whenever you have sessions in the market, that's where there's supposed to be volume, right? So we had volume in pre-London, right? Pre-London had some volume, and now we start to consolidate. Consolidation happens when candles print next to each other. So now I'm looking at this. Do you know about impulse entries?
Yes.
You know about it? Yes. Okay. So impulse entries is something we go over in a lot of detail at Market Future University.
Okay.
Just to explain to people, when I'm looking at this, I'm looking to see that, okay, if the next 15-minute candle breaks below this low, what's the probability that it can then continue to push down to fill this wick here to the left-hand side, which is 25 pips, right? And if there's volume in London Open, can we break below this wick to continue pushing down towards, this 38 pip range, right? So my whole idea was that, okay, if the 15-minute candle next one breaks below this low, the sell will go in, and then we will aim for price to fill this wick, or we're going to aim for like 13 to 17, 18 pips and just close the position. Since it's a Monday, one trade, just aim for like certain amount of pips. So we took the sell as we broke below the low. Can I take a sell over here or something?
Yes, you can just put the,
Okay, awesome. Great. So hit next bar over here.
Yes.
See, price went down. That's where I secured, and then we rejected.
Okay.
Price came down. I actually, on this one, I secured about 13 pips right over here, right? So when we broke below the low, I took the sell. My stop loss was above the current candle, because if a candle is breaking the low of the previous candle, then it should not break its own high.
Okay.
Right? And once this candle is breaking below the low, which means now it's going to make a lower low.
Yes.
If it's going to make a lower low, it has no business breaking its own high. If it breaks its own high, then this means it may not go further down, right? So that's why the stop loss was right over here and not all the way right up over here. Because if the stop loss is all the way up over here and this candle breaks its own high, now you're hoping that it doesn't hit your stop loss, which is like, makes no sense. It's like a 75 pip stop.
Yeah.
Like, or I don't know, but it shouldn't break its own high. So that's why the stop loss is right over here. Impulse entry went in, price came down, didn't get greedy, got about 13, 14, 15 pips and closed the trade. Because, you never know whether this candle will reject like this or it will continue to push down.
Okay.
You never know. That's why it's very important. If you want to let it run, secure 90% and then let the rest run. Or rather than letting the whole thing run.
I see. Wow. So we are just on a 15 minutes time frame.
Yeah.
Which exact time frame did you take this entry?
This one, 15 minutes.
On the 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because sometimes the 30-minute or the 1 hour, they're like good confirmations, but sometimes you're not going to get that opportunity, right? And there are a lot of guys that say, okay, like, you know what, you got to focus on the 30-minute confirmation or the 1 hour confirmation. But the problem is, bro, if you're looking at the 30-minute confirmation and sometimes price moves and you miss it, some people get annoyed with it, right? They get frustrated. Oh, I missed a trade, blah, blah. But if you, instead of taking another trade, instead of over trading, if you look at price action and ask yourself that, okay, I missed it on the 30-minute. Was there any confirmation on the 15-minute time frame? And then you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe I could have taken a sell once it broke the low and secured around this wick fill and called it a day. Yeah, I think that would have been a good idea. And then you make a note of it. And this happens again, you make a note again. Happens again, and when it happens the fourth and the fifth time, you're gonna be like, oh, you know what? I've seen this happen before. Let me execute on it.
Right. That is just the power of journaling, right?
Yeah.
So up to now, do you still journal?
I still journal in my head.
Okay, in your head.
I still journal in my head.
Right.
Like just like we were talking, like they asked me what was the trade I took. I took one trade on Monday.
Yeah.
Because I remember the trade. I remember. Like, and the exact what it was, what happened. So journaling is still important.
But journaling is something you advise people to do, right?
100%. Whether you win a trade, if you win a trade, you have to journal to see where could you have had a better entry.
Right.
Because there's always a better entry.
Right.
Because if you have a better entry, that means your monetary reward is going to be bigger. If you lost a trade, always ask yourself that, okay, how could I have lowered my loss? If I lost $100, how could I have lost $80, with risk management? So that's the most important thing. That's what you learn from journaling.
This was actually a win trade. Let's just say you lost. Let's just imagine you lost this trade. Okay, me your reaction. Are you going to be emotional? Are you just going to get back and try to get your money back or what?
Yeah, okay. So what happened was after, let's say, for example, I was in this trade and my stop loss was above this candle right over here. Right. And now trade went in profits. I saw trade go in profits and now we retrace. And now I'm thinking, I'm at break even now.
Yeah.
Right.
You saw money actually.
Yeah. So should I hope for price to go further down or should I look at it logically and say, okay, we've had a rejection. What's the probability that price will go up to hit my stop loss versus price is just going to drop down? Okay. Right? First things come to your mind that, okay, we've had a rejection. It may hit my stop loss. Okay. If it's going to hit my stop loss, what am I going to do? Am I going to close 50% over here?
Okay.
And let the rest run? Because if I close 50% here and if it hits my stop loss, how much have I lost? I've lost 50% of what I wanted to lose.
Yes.
That's still a win. Let's see what happens here. Hit play. And see, stop loss got hit. So I lost 50% of what I planned on losing.
Okay.
So whenever I lose, I make sure I lose less than what I'm planning on losing because I can still consider that as a win.
Okay.
Because I didn't lose the whole thing. I lost partial of it. And if I lost 50%, then I can use the remaining 50% in another trade that I'm going to take. So even if I lose the trade, the whole thing, and I was looking for a sell, I will never change my bias. I will keep my bias exactly the same. I'm going to look for the same sell again. with a better confirmation.
Oh.
Because when you change your bias, let's say you go in a buy and you lose the buy and then price eventually goes down, then you're going to say, man, I should have stuck to my bias. Why does this happen to me? Right?
Right.
So those are like different, like, you know, you got to micromanage our own selves in the charts. Very.
I see. So psychology-wise, you know, a lot of people cannot even stand to take losses.
Yes.
People sit behind the charts as with the employee mindset, but not the employer mindset. With the employee mindset, not seeing the chart as a business, right? So they get into, you know, an employer will basically run a business hoping to make a profit or lose. Right?
Yeah.
This is an employer. But an employee will just show up at work and pretty much expect to be paid the fact that he is there. Like they cannot really stand a chance to lose money in the market simply because they are thinking as employees.
Man, traders are worse than employees. And let me tell you why. If you're an employee, right? Let's say I'm working in this office. I'm an employee. I'm going to go downstairs. After I'm done, I'm going to sit in a car and I'm going to go home, right? What traders do is they'll go in their car, they'll sit there and they'll watch the building. Just like when you're watching the charts. You know, your time of trading is done, it's finished, but you're still watching the charts for God knows what.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're going to trade. So they're better than employees. They're going to go sit in the car and they'll watch the building. Oh, let's see who comes out next. Let's see who comes out next. Right? So now look, this whole trade happened in like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Quick, right? But in 17 minutes, we knew that the sell is not going to work. Now, I'm done after that.
Okay.
Like, you know, I'm done. Once I know that, okay, my trade's over, I'm done after that.
Done for the day.
I'm done for the day. Okay. I'm done for the day. Like, look at it this way, right? If your job is to go out there and you can go home after you get your first sale, you're going to get your first sale and you're going to go home. If the payout is big, you're going to go home. You're not going to continue to do more sales because here's the catch. If you continue to do more sales, you may lose that first sale.
Okay.
Right? That's how I look at it. If I'm going to win a trade, I'm done. I'm going to go home. You know, this month I took one trade. This was the only trade I took. I called it a day. I'm like, I'm done. You know, if I lose a trade, I'm done for the day. I don't.
You don't even want to see anything about chart.
No, I hate charts after that. I hate looking at the charts after that. You know, I'm done. It's like work.
Yeah.
Why would I want to talk about my work
After work?
Like, you know, I come here, I do what I have to do, win or loss, I learn, I come back the next day. I don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's very tough, bro. And this is what you got to do. After you're done, and people ask me, how do you stay away from the charts? Like this. That's it. And how charts are closed. You put your stool back, you stand out, and you go out. Yeah, that's what you do. That's it. That's the magic.
For sure. Mr. Raja, thank you so much. Thank you
Man, I
for
appreciate it.
going through the trading room. So guys, there you see, we have Mr. Raja in the trading studio. Give us a lot of nuggets, and I hope you also learn something from that. All right, let's get it.